Hey YouTube, Matt back with yet another installment of the shed build. So why are we in the shop? Well, because it's time to paint. Yeah, my least favorite part of anything involving wood, but it's got to be done. So I have decided to invest in an airless paint sprayer. I wasn't going to do this. I was going to grab the rollers and the brushes and just have at it. It's frankly not that big of a project. But I went to get the paint and this thing was on a clearance sale in the home center, and I looked and it got some pretty good reviews online. So I figured, what the heck, we'll pick it up and we'll give it a go. I have exterior latex paint to put on this thing. I got a couple gallons of barn red and a gallon of barn white for the trim and pieces of the doors and stuff like that. I don't know exactly how much paint I'm going to need. I have just over 500 square feet of surface area to paint on the barn itself. But the gallons, are rated anywhere from 250 to 500 square feet of coverage because it depends on whether you're primed or not, the texture of the surface. Are you going to spray and waste a bunch of it, or is it all going straight on the thing? So I picked up 4 gallons of paint. I'm hoping, I know I'll get 2 coats out of that. I might get 3, we'll see how it goes. Picked up a little spout for the gallon can so I can pour it into the bucket on the sprayer without making a giant mess of the cans. And I picked up this. This is called Floetrol. What does this do? Well, this is a latex paint conditioner. You, in theory, don't need this to spray with a quality airless sprayer. But a little bit of this stuff goes a long, long way to helping the paint atomize, to helping it flow, to reducing clogs and things like that. So between this stuff and the fact that I plan on straining the paint into the sprayer, I think this is going to go pretty smoothly. Let's cut this thing open and see what's in here. This is the Graco 360DS. So we got a spray gun. We got a canister with some very simple startup instructions. We got the top of the canister, and we've got a bunch of directions which we'll resort to if we have to. All right, what I like about this particular sprayer as opposed to all the rest of the ones in their lineup is these things. They call them flex liners. They're somewhere between a heavy-duty bag and a Chinese takeout container for your soup. In fact, that might work. I should remember that. Anyway, this is what the paint goes in, and it's kind of nice because these are disposable. So you're going to still have to clean the gun. You're going to have to clean the tips. There's no getting around. There's a lot of cleaning to do if you use a paint sprayer. But this I can toss. I'll probably, reuse the same one as long as I'm using the same color on the barn. I will use a different one for the white when I get to that. And then at the end of my project, I'll just pitch it. Now the way this goes together, the liner goes in here. And you put on the lid and it has stickers on the side. There's a white to blue gradient sticker right here. And there's an arrow on the top that lines up with that to let you know that you are in the appropriate tightness range, torque for the rest of us. This then clips onto the gun itself, like so. Of course, it has paint in it. And it has this goofy little valve over here. They call it the vacuum valve. You know what it is? It's a hole. That's all it is. It's a pinhole down into this container that allows you to squeeze out the excess air just until you've got paint up to the pinhole. Then you close it and latch it shut. And now, with no air in this thing, you can turn it upside down, sideways, shoot behind your back, go gangster style with it. You can pretty much do whatever you want with this sprayer because you're always going to have the ability to pull paint into the pump. Okay, well, it is not my intention to do a full review of this thing, certainly not before I've put it through its paces. So I'm going to go ahead and load it up with some of my barn red. Little dash will do you of the Floetrol, just for good measure. And then we will go out to the work site, fire up the time-lapse camera and watch this barn turn red. Hey there, YouTube. Coat of paint. My helper, Madeline, she picked the color. What do you think? Verdict on the Graco 360 sprayer. It's a definite thumbs up when it comes to getting the paint on there. I wish the container was bigger. You have to stop and fill it about every 2 minutes because it puts on paint so fast. You know, like any sprayer, cleaning it kind of, well, it's cleaning a paint sprayer. What can I tell you? It's not great. You know, in retrospect, I still think it was a good choice getting one that had the cup right on it as opposed to the big long hose and the stationary motor. I don't know what you're supposed to do to get all that paint out of 50 feet of hose, but I'm glad I didn't have to do it. You may have noticed the creepy little getup here. This thing actually works pretty well. It's made out of the same thing as those synthetic athletic shirts, and it does great at moisture control. But more importantly, it is paint containment. I don't know about you, I don't have any desire to scrub paint off of my head. Likewise, I didn't have any desire to get paint in my eyes, and even though I'm outside and this is latex paint, not to be confused with water-based. I don't want to go on a tangent here, but look up the material safety data sheet on your latex paint someday. There's a lot more in it than just water. So outside latex paint, you still need some sort of respiratory protection. I didn't go crazy with it. It was just a real high quality dust mask to keep the particles and droplets of paint out of my lungs. And it definitely worked. If I look at that thing, it's, it's the same color as this barn, as are my glasses and probably the front of the camera. If you're looking at this through what appears to be chicken pox, that's why. Regardless, this was easy. It's still painting. It's still not fun, but it was easy. Working that thing one-handed was no problem, so I didn't have to move the ladder too many times. The paint dried so fast. You know, I'm starting after work here, so it's late afternoon in whatever month this is, September. Bright sunny day, the sun dries the paint like that. So I got both coats on there, and I'm looking around at it, and I don't see any place that looks missed. You know, maybe down inside the grooves here, this fake paneling thing, it could use a little more paint, maybe with the spray pattern the other way, but I don't know. We'll see. You know how it's a shed, it's a barn, it's going to need repainting here in a couple of years anyway, so might just have to wait till then. Next steps, I have to get out the white paint and we have to start painting some trim. Specifically, we have to paint the fly rafters so that they can go up here on the gable ends. Still have the roof trusses accessible from the back side because I haven't put the last of the sheathing up on the roof. And that's really what I want to get to. Once the fly rafters are up, I can finish the roof, and that's going to obviously give me a relatively watertight building. It's a major milestone, if you will. So hopefully, this is Friday, so hopefully the weather will hold this weekend and we can make massive progress. I don't want to talk about being done just yet because we're still a long way from doors, but color is always good. At least now it looks like it will at some point be a finished project. Stick around, YouTube. More to come.